All right, you made it to the season finale. Maybe you've been binge watching these 5 episodes of Looking at This Wheel. So we have reached our goal of taking it down into as basic parts as possible. This bearing here is probably press fit in somehow, and yeah, we'd probably damage it in order to take it apart further. Another thing about bearing is, so the leg of the table would be here. Bearings are good to bear the load of whatever it's holding, and so that's why you have this nice metal, really rigid piece. So, as promised, we are going to take it back to put it back together. So let's count up the pieces: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Not bad, not bad. And it would be very interesting to see how this was made. All right, let's put it back together. We've got the foot, the metal piece here, and then the rubber. Okay. Then we've got the adjustment bolt. I'll start it up here, wind it up. Okay. And we'll seat that back in place. So this orange piece goes through the bearing hole here. Maybe need to wind it up a little more. Okay, kind of have to squeeze the rubber. Okay, that's good. So yeah, this goes back to its original function of adjusting the knob. Now that you see, it's just this bolt that's pulling up. This would be considered the nut. Okay, so let's put the fastener up here. It has a washer. Right, you see the washer. The washer helps spread the load, right? Because when you're screwing it in, it's applying a force this way, so you're going to spread that load over the washer. Just drop this back in here. Oops, it's kind of at an angle. Might have to do this a couple times. Let's see. Oop. Upside down. Okay, try a few more times and then we'll do the other one if this takes a while. Might have to, aha. Okay, so now, remember we talked about stripping the head? We also don't want to strip the other end of the thread, so we just kind of have to, it's really a learning how to feel by touch here whether or not you've engaged the threads. I want to make sure you can see, but I'm applying things properly. So you see that? You see how I'm spinning the wrench, but the knob, remember when we undid it, I held it, so that's what I need to do. All right, holding. All right, that'll engage the threads. I can feel it bringing up. I don't know if it's going to bottom out. Oh, okay. When you reach that bottom out, just like quarter turn, right? Because otherwise, if you overdo the turning of the threads, something's going to give. The head of the bolt, your tool, you'll start to strip the head. All right, it has reached the end of its travel this way. All right, so we've got that, and this one's pretty straightforward. I talked about this, I think, in episode 2. All right, 2 different ways. Pretty cool axle here, so it can't spin. So I'll take that out, drop the wheel in, boom, and then these bolts right here, that just holds. All right, so right now it's free to come out. I can even tighten it by hand. Hand tightening's not bad, although this is a quite not much of a grip there. But at least I can get it started. And then I can use the screwdriver to finish it off. Again, you don't want to start the threads at an angle, so it really is a lifetime of practice to make sure that the threads on this are not stripping the threads there. All right. Sometimes you actually have to, normally it's clockwise to tighten. Sometimes you start counterclockwise a little. All right, I think my grip is not good enough. I'm going to tighten this by hand. Much better. All right, we have a nice amount of torque here. Okay, tighten, and then on the other end. If you ever have a set of fasteners that are, let's say 4, let's say there were fasteners here, all right, you want to actually slowly adjust, alternate in adjusting, tightening it down. You don't want to tighten one down and then try to tighten these down, because then that'll misalign it. It's not our situation here, but just a thought as we are putting it back together. 3 screws, pretty cool. Okay, do one more check. Remember here on this top one, all right, if I spin it, all right, you're like, oh, hey, I'm tightening it. It's like, probably not. So I'm gonna hold the orange, tighten. That's pretty good. And now let's see if we've done it. Got the adjustment knob. All right, look at that. Now notice here, the further out this goes, that means the further out the adjustment bolt is from here. Let's see what happens when we extend it all the way. Now that we know how this is put together, will this actually come out? Oh, look at that. It actually does. You see that coming out? Now this would never happen on the table because you have the table above you. So we're gonna raise it back up. All right, because all you need is just like a, I don't know, 1/8 inch, 1/4 inch of this being further out than that, and then you're all set. Wind it back up. We are past our 5-minute mark. They say that people can only pay attention for 7 minutes, so okay, I think we're good. Okay, there you have it. There was a wheel. Again, none of this had been rehearsed before, and this is something you'll get better with time. And yeah, after this, I'm not sure whether or not this could serve for a project like using this, but maybe even just taking it apart. And now we have 5 episodes that you can watch in explaining the process. Thank you for watching, and be curious about things. Of course, if you have something at home, you should definitely ask permission before you take something apart, or make sure it's something that doesn't need to be put back together. All right, we got our axle in place, being held by these 2 bolts, and then the adjustment knob being held there, and of course, the bearing. Okay, thank you very much. Have a good one.